The first top players. Back in the early days from update 1.6 to early 1.9 around 2014, there wasn't nearly as much competition for the top spots as we see today. That's why it's a bit hard to say exactly who the best players were, but we do have some names that might sound familiar: Andromeda, Neptune, Seri, Zobros, and Alex Payne. These were the first players who started beating the early Insane and even the first Extreme Demons in the game. Unfortunately, all three of the Korean players ended up being exposed as hackers later on, since cheating was much more common back then. That left us with Alex Payne and Zobros as the first legitimate top players. Especially before early 1.9, both of them were already making huge progress in Iconic Demons. But everything would change with the arrival of two players who took the game to a whole new level. Riot versus Cyclic. In December 2014, G-Boy posted a preview of a new insanely difficult level called Cataclysm. When it was finally uploaded in 2015, many players rushed to try it, but by April, a promising Korean player named Cyclic posted a screenshot reaching 50% on the level, and later, he managed to reach 86%. At the time, several players were racing to be the first to complete it, including Smokes, Sandstorm, and of course, Riot, who had already shown his skill by becoming the second person to beat Deadly Clubstep. Cyclic would end up being the first one to beat Cataclysm. Soon after, Riot would also beat it, and on top of that, he became the first victor of Ice Carbon Diablo X, an old 1.6 level once considered impossible. Not long after, Cyclic also completed it. By this point, both players had beaten nearly every major challenge in the game. Then in June 2015, Riot posted a preview of a massive new mega collab called Bloodbath. It was designed as a much harder sequel to Cataclysm. Feeling the pressure, Cyclic also began creating a level of his own, the hardest 9 circles level by far, Sonic Wave. But here's the problem. When Cyclic verified it, he claimed he didn't record his full run, and instead, he uploaded only cut sections on his channel, which raised a lot of suspicion, especially considering how fast he supposedly verified it. Because there was no real verification video, Sonic Wave ended up unrated. Meanwhile, in August 2015, Riot officially verified Bloodbath, a level that would remain unbeaten for 7 months. Cyclic, on the other hand, kept completing levels like A Bizarre Phantasm and New Cataclysm, and in March 2016 he previewed the Hell Zone, a remake of a 1.2 demon. But this is where everything changed. In his verification video of the Hell Zone, there was a frame where his icon disappeared, suggesting the use of a start position in the video. The very next day, Cyclic posted a message admitting and apologizing that both the first and second versions of the Hell Zone had cuts in his videos and were hack verified. That shocked everyone, including Riot, who confronted him on Skype at the time, and it was there that Cyclic confessed everything. Every single one of his completions was hacked. Cataclysm, A Bizarre Phantasm, Sonic Wave, all of them. After that, Cyclic deleted his channel and Riot realized the truth. He had been the top player all alone the entire time.
No, it cannot be real. I've been competing with a hacker the whole time. What is the point? What is life?
Riot's last big completion during his peak was verifying Red World Rebirth. Later on, he reduced his activity due to finger pains, but not before joining one of the most important races in Geometry Dash history, Sonix. With Cyclic exposed, the community's interest in Sonic Wave skyrocketed. Suddenly, a lot of top players were racing to be the first victor and verifier of the level. Among them were Riot, Trusta, and a rising player named Sonix. Sonix had originally gone by the name Deem when he started playing Geometry Dash, and he quickly got attention for how fast he grinded through demons. In August 2016, he beat Cataclysm and casually called it just a very hard demon. After that, he started destroying extreme demons one after another, beating Conical Depression, A Bizarre Phantasm, Red World Rebirth, ICDX, Fexty, and Bloodbath all within about a month. He first became infamous for making multiple joke versions of Bloodbath. There was a green version, a yellow version, a blue version, and even one where every object was set to 10% opacity. After all of that, he officially changed his name to Sonix and moved on to even bigger challenges. He beat Sock Up in Hell, which had just been verified by Trusta, and became the first victor of a Thanatos after Xenity's hacked completion. Both of these levels were already harder than Bloodbath. But then, in the span of just 1 week, Sonix completely shocked the community. First, he became the first victor of Catabath, a massive 2XL level that combined both Cataclysm and Bloodbath. Then, he finally won the race for Sonic Wave. His speed was so unreal that people started calling him non-human or simply a robot. From there, Sonix just harvested the entire demon list and basically every other hard level that came out. Yatagarasu, Artificial Ascent, Allegiance, Blade of Justice, Erebus, Carnage Mode, Glowy Digital Descent, Quantum Processing, Killbot, Plasma Pulse Finale, you name it, he beat it. In December 2017, he verified Gamma, which was placed at number 4 on the demon list at the time. At that point, Sonix held the longest streak in GD history. He had beaten all 49 of the hardest demons in the game. After that, he slowed down a little, but his next major challenge came in mid-2018, Bloodlust. Bloodlust had taken Nobbleboy 1.5 years and over 120,000 attempts to verify. Sonix beat it in just 2 weeks, but this caused huge controversy because Sonix had used an FPS bypass, which at the time was not allowed by the demon list and was considered by many to be cheating. Funny enough, today, FPS bypass is literally an official tool built into the game. After that, Sonix reduced his activity again, only beating a handful of extremes and making some content over the course of a year. But in August 2019, he surprised the community for the last time by being the first victor of After Catabath, the final part of the trilogy combining Cataclysm, Bloodbath, and Aftermath into one massive level. Nowadays, Sonix has quit Geometry Dash entirely, saying he lost interest years ago, but during his peak, his speed, consistency, and dominance made him one of the most legendary players the game has ever seen. Nswish. Nswish started his career very quickly, already beating Extreme Demons in early 2017. He became known for using very few attempts to complete them. For example, he beat Zafgil in only 600 attempts, and on the very same day, he completed Artificial Dream in just 700. His initial rise that caught everyone's attention came in December 2018 when he beat Plasma Pulse Finale in only 13,000 attempts. After that, he crushed Bloodlust, Gamma, Sonic Wave, Yatagarasu, and Erebus. By mid-2019, he was destroying new extremes as soon as they released. He beat WoW by Trusta in just 5,000 attempts, followed by Koareta, Crimson Planet, Zodiac, Lucid Nightmares, Deimos, and Arctic Lights. By this point, he was very close to Sonix's level because he had beaten all 25 hardest demons in the game. By the end of 2019, Nswish verified Cognition in only a week, and then beat Kinos just 9 days after its release, taking him only 10,000 attempts compared to Nepesta's 135,000. The following year, he set his sights on the next number 1, Tartarus. Then in April, Nswish verified what would become his most iconic achievement, the Golden, which took him around 50,000 attempts and gave us one of the most memorable reactions in GD history.
I verified the Golden, let's go. Finally.
In September of that same year, Nswish accomplished something nobody else had done before. He completed the entire main list, all 75 hardest levels in the game. Not even Sonix had done that. It wasn't a surprise for anyone that he won the GD Awards from 2020 as the best player. Shortly after, he disappeared without much explanation. He never revealed many details about his personal life, or why he suddenly vanished. He eventually returned in December 2021, streaming attempts on levels like Firework and even reaching 51% on Sakubin Circles. He also beat new record in Hard Machine. It was obvious to everyone that the number one player was back and ready to reclaim his spot. But then, Nswish disappeared again. This time, once and for all. Years later, in September 2023, a player named rsliced uploaded a video accusing Nswish of hacking. He claimed that Nswish used a method very similar to, spoiler alert, the one SpaceUK would later be accused of. The evidence was based on click inconsistency in his completions. The video sparked massive drama, and in response, Nswish deleted all of his socials except his GD account. Later, it was discovered that the evidence in rslice's video was manipulated. He had misaligned the audio tracks himself, which created the illusion of cheating. He then privated the video. Not long after, a strange post appeared on Nswish's account saying, "cheated." It was quickly deleted, and another message followed claiming that his account had been hacked after his password was leaked, insisting that he had never cheated any of his completions. The last message we ever got from Nswish was, "Hi guys, I did not cheat in the game or cheat on my wife, lol. I'm doing fine by the way. Deleting everything was a personal choice that I stand by." SpaceUK. He started playing Geometry Dash pretty recently, around 2020. From the very beginning, his progress was absolutely insane. His first demon was Decode, and right after that, he jumped straight into Windy Landscape, jumping again to Cataclysm, and then again to Wasareta, so in just 4 completions, he was already beating a top 20 demon. And then came his 5th completion. It was none other than the Golden, which was the number 1 demon at the time. He managed to do all of this in just 3 to 4 months, making him arguably the biggest prodigy the game has ever seen. After that, he just kept beating extreme demons like they were nothing. His most iconic verification was without a doubt Slaughterhouse, the level that finally dethroned Tartarus from the top spot. And of course, that's where his legendary cough reaction comes from.
I can't fucking react, otherwise I'm gonna cough so much.
Over time, SpaceUK ended up beating every single level on the demon list. Kiyuki, Arcturus, Sakupin Circles, Crimson Planet, Kinos, Tartarus itself. The only player who managed to do that was Nswish. On top of that, SpaceUK also won the Geometry Dash Awards in 2021 and 2022 as the best player. But everything came crashing down in April 2023. Paco, the verifier of Silent Clubstep, uploaded a video exposing Space as a cheater. In many of SpaceUK's completions, his click sounds were slightly earlier or slightly later than the actual input. Even worse, you could hear his second click at the start of most completions, which strongly suggested he was activating a macro to play the level for him. Shortly after, SpaceUK went on Twitter and admitted that every single one of his demon list completions was hacked. He had been using a simple macro tool called Zbot, and for over 2 years he had managed to fool the entire community. It's important to understand just how impactful this was. His cheating was more meaningful than any other exposés before, even Cyclic's. SpaceUK had stolen the number 1 title and countless achievements from other players, and since the community is so much larger now, he also stole a lot of revenue from his videos and verifications. To be fair, he did return much of the money he made, so at least he wasn't completely malicious about it. In a strange way though, this scandal ended up being good for the community long term. Obviously, the damage of stealing people's achievements can't be undone, but before SpaceUK, most people thought it was impossible for someone to cheat their way to the very top for years without being caught. When it turned out he had done it with a cheap, simple tool, it forced the community to raise the standards for verifications. All of this was to make sure that another SpaceUK situation could never happen again. Zoink. The current number 1 player for quite a while now is none other than Zoink. Finally, a top player who hasn't been involved in any major drama at all. He started his career in 2021, making a massive leap by going from Bloodbath straight to Zodiac. That already showed how promising he was for the game. SpaceUK kinda popularized those insane big jumps in the community, so Zoink pushed himself through Zodiac with over 40,000 attempts. Not long after, he started grinding through some of the hardest levels of the time. He beat Deimos, Cold Sweat, Bloodlust, Tartarus, the Golden, Sonic Wave Infinity, and eventually Slaughterhouse, becoming the first legitimate victor after Doggy. But being good wasn't enough for Zoink. He wanted to be the very best. To truly earn that title, Zoink knew he had to do more than just beat the hardest levels. He had to verify the hardest himself. In early 2022, Wolves dropped the verification of a level called Acheron after failing at 96%, leaving the challenge open to anyone who could finish it. This was Zoink's chance to prove himself. But he wasn't alone. He was competing against other top players like 1 Alpha Helix, Doggy, and even SpaceUK. Zoink wasn't just competing against a hacker, but he also was playing Acheron in a buffed version, which not only would make it harder than Slaughterhouse, but much harder. In August, Zoink finally did it. He verified Acheron as the new #1 demon, and in early 2023 he achieved the impossible. He surpassed SpaceUK in points on the demon list, officially becoming the #1 player in the world. For the second time in Geometry Dash history, a top player was so good he even won a rivalry against a hacker, proving just how skilled he really was. Since then, Zoink has continued to dominate. He currently holds the record for the most #1 demon verifications with 4 in total: Acheron, Avernus, Tidal Wave, and now Thinking Space 2. He has held the title of verifier of the hardest level in the game since 2022, more than 3 years straight, and today he has a lead of over 1,300 points above second place.